Hey guys, I wanted to provide an update. I have, in the last instance, as you see from the previous videos of what I alleged to be a false arrest, charges were dissolved. The Commonwealth didn't want to participate wittingly in a retaliation scheme against the victim, witness, and informant of crime. With that being said, I've taken some time to sort through my investigatory work and my documentation to be able to pretty much compose a lawsuit, and I had went to file that the other day, and it was the first time in my life of filing a financial affidavit that I was actually denied. And I was denied twice verbally, um, to be refused to know why I was denied, and they said the judge didn't have to tell me. It was Judge Puckett. He was with the Halifax County Courthouse. He previously denied a motion for injunction for immediate relief and a motion for summary judgment. He didn't want to hear any motion hearings during a time of COVID. Anyway, so he denied my financial affidavit that shows no support, no income, no property. And my mind was blown. I had never been denied a financial affidavit. So I alleged foul play right off the bat, thinking this individual's conspiring against me. And I raised a stink. They did not return the form back to me that the judge signed showing it was denied. And I wanted to hold on to that for evidence for my records. They had me wait a half hour. I waited calmly. And then they hand me one of two papers back. And they didn't hand me the second paper that was the signatures with the signing off of the denial and refusal for the grant for the financial affidavit to go through. So with that being said, I threw a stink and I said, well, you're holding on to this other sheet that we both signed. I'd like it back. Well, come to find out after waiting another 15 minutes that they destroyed it. So I have no proof that I had ever been denied originally with a financial affidavit from Judge Puckey. With that being said, I raised a stink, claiming it was evidence, telling them I just might as well go ahead and submit another right here, right now, to get denied so I can get the form back signed. And they said, hold on one second. They came back and they said, oh, you were denied because you have food stamps and we need to see proof of income for food stamps. Are you kidding me? I've always had food stamps, always marked food stamps, never been denied in this state or in any other state. And remember, I previously hired a public defender who attempted to undermine my right to control my case, and she attempted to sabotage it. When I filed a financial affidavit, Judge Puckett, I'm assuming, he was the one presiding over that day, he approved my financial affidavit without me having to jump through hoops to gain proof showing income for food stamp assistance. Interesting. So moving forward, having walked through the door of the courthouse, I believe that my First and Fourth Amendment rights were violated walking through the door. My First Amendment right to freedom of press, to be able to openly record in any public places, in public buildings, in any accessible public areas. My Fourth Amendment right to be secure in my persons with my property in regards to holding on to my cell phone that was it's pretty much banned at the door per policy. Now, there's signage up to say no cell phones allowed in the building. Well, this is a public building with public accessible areas that are generally open to the public, so we have a right to record in public spaces. Because if I'm not in private, or if I'm not in public, I'm obviously in private. With that being said, there are some areas that are not openly accessible to the public. Those are off limits. You have no right to record in those. So with that being said, after being denied, I had went and gotten the information for the food stamp information that they requested, and I submitted that along with a sworn statement. I had alleged with my testimony that I gained information from a deputy here at the Halifax County General District Courthouse. His name was Crump. Crump, yes, Deputy Crump. He told me that if I walk through the metal detector with my phone, per Judge Puckett's order to him personally, he is to arrest any individual, not me specifically, for trespassing if you walk in with your cell phone that is your property into these public areas. We have the right to be secure in our property. We have the right to film in public places. So tell me, why would this courthouse abrogate an individual's right? Judge Puckett giving an order to Mr. Crump, Deputy Crump, is a form of criminal solicitation, an attempt to show a conspiracy to deprive us of our rights under 18 U.S. Code 241 and to definitively deprive me of my rights under United States Title 18 United States Code Section 242. And these are the violations of the First and Fourth Amendment right. Now, I asked the clerk, I said, is this the statement that I made, the sworn statement? I specifically requested that no judge who is abrogating my rights when I walk through the door of a courthouse, I do not wish to be presiding over my case, period, or any future cases. So my lawsuit got sent directly to a chief judge. It has been approved, and I'm about to file a claim against the General District Court for abrogating a citizen's right. Now, in regards to this matter, the clerk explained to me that it was not the judge's policy, and she was trying to deflect responsibility of the judge in regards to the sworn statement I made that said that that officer told me that he would arrest me for criminal trespassing, which does not cover bringing a phone in or being told not to bring a phone in. It's actually definitively trespassing after having been forbidden to do so. And remaining on one's land or property, trespassing property, is the issue. You cannot trespass property with property unless you have been notified. However, with that being said, it is the law that we are not able to carry guns into courthouses for safety reasons. The clerk had deflected responsibility and said that it was the circuit court's order that no phones are be allowed to be carried into any of these court buildings. I said, okay, I'm curious. If it's not the judge's policy, then it's got to be some form of law, or it's just a gray area policy that's being frivolously enforced in regards to the rights erosion and a conspiracy to deprive us of our rights. So what is it? So walking to the door of the circuit court clerk's office, there's a sign on that says no cell phones are allowed. Well, would you believe me if they actually allow individuals within that clerk's office to take pictures of deeds, things of that nature? That's the case, even though the door says, stop, don't bring the phone in here. So why would one clerk's office in a circuit court allow cell phones to be carried in for work purposes? Obviously, you're not doing anything malicious with it. But why would the General District Court below that undermine our right to carry our property in? Well, here's the thing. They say go put it in your car. What car? I don't have a car. I gave it away. So how is it to be stored? I have the right to be secure in my property at all times. No stipulations in place in regards to that. So with that being said, I had to hide it behind a tree. How secure is that? It's not secure. It's completely not secure. This phone has relative pertinent information that shows a lot of behavior that I'm recording brought on by law enforcement that can prove racketeering and organized crime. The judge following a blind rule or blind order telling a deputy to arrest individuals, that is criminal solicitation. It's opening the deputy up to be able to arrest individuals for something we have the right to do. That's why it's criminal solicitation. So with that being said, I advised the deputy. I said, "This is public area, right? That's public area. This is public building, yeah." I said, "Well, you took an oath to the First Amendment and swearing to uphold the Constitution, and where is my right to record right here, recording this altercation in public for my records?" Well, they stripped me of my right when I walked through the door, and they trespassed on my rights. So, with that being said, I didn't record any altercation with the clerks that would show foul play with my paperwork. I didn't get to record any of that. I recorded it up here, recorded a little on paper. I had took a screenshot walking back outside of my sworn statement. With that being said, with the general district clerk blaming it on circuit court, I called circuit court. I wanted to know where this policy that they're enforcing came from. Apparently, the signs got carried over from the previous courthouse. You know, it's being renovated. Would you believe me if I told you that a clerk has looked through a bunch of policy and they can't find anything? They can't. So while I have general district clerks blaming it on the Circuit Court of Virginia, we can't find a policy. I don't know what to tell you. But let me tell you what I did find. I found a model policy brought on by the Supreme Court from December 2018 that would specifically and explicitly address my concerns in regards to electronics being carried into the courthouse and our right to be secure in our property. And this model policy was produced as pretty much a definitive guideline for courts to follow or modify as they see fit, but to follow it, to not deprive people of their property. I'm pro se. My phone is my tool. It's a communications device. I had to leave the clerk's office to go behind the tree, grab my phone, and pull 2 addresses off of it. How is that fair? It's not. There's relative information on my phone pertaining to my case. And when you deprive individuals of their tool, which is a basic essential need these days, to access information, to be able to help themselves, you are depriving individuals of their rights. And in regards to this, they would not allow that judge to preside over my case or my hearing. And it is a definitive conflict of interest, I believe, at this point, for the court to even preside over my case. This court is in violation of the First and Fourth Amendment under Title 18 U.S. Code 241 and 242. So I gave them verbal notice the other day telling them they're breaking the law. If we have court in 5 minutes and we're standing in the hallway, I should be able to pull out my cell phone and tell Tom, who's got court in 5 minutes with us, "Tom, you're late. Where are you at?" Without having to run out of the building, go to my car, open it up if I had a car, and make a call, come back through security checkpoint, and already be late to going in the room just to try to figure out where Tom is. So anyway, I understand recording in courtrooms can be a problem, which is why the model policy that the Supreme Court produced suggests requesting permission from a judge, so that way you're not doing anything arbitrarily. That's all I got today. Just a little definitive update. It's funny when you walk through the courthouse door and your rights are being violated right off the bat. It's very interesting on working on the law stuff, studying law stuff, knowing the system that we are a part of. I've worked really hard to understand a lot of things that I do. There's several people that will jump on my channel, on my videos, and gaslight me. They'll victim shame me. They'll tell me about some form of medication that I'm not on, that I should be on, that I know nothing about. It's very interesting to see how society plays the role of sheep that blindly follow orders, that just deep throat and worship the boot. I am not supportive of law enforcement. Law enforcement actively targets individuals for attempted extortion in regards to finances, in regards to property, and they statistically abrogate citizens' rights to do things while they attempt extortion, giving permission by some statutes that are vaguely left open, These people will shoot you in the back, as we know, and execute you before the judge even gets the chance to ever see over a case. So, no, I don't support law enforcement whatsoever. And I also don't blindly follow orders. And, studying law in the manner that I have, not going to school for it, and being taught in a specific taught course of knowledge instilled by a teacher, it's kind of hard, but it's kind of beautiful in its own way. I'm developing my own course of studies, and it is amazing. I learn what I feel I need to learn when I need to learn it. And I know the first year students study the court rules of civil procedures, and that's a lot of reading, but I'm learning. Um, I'm very happy to be able to do this. And as most people want evidence showing my false arrest, whatever, you can look it up. It was definitely dropped by the Commonwealth attorneys who wanted no part in the prosecution. And they dropped it as fast as the animal control handed me my dog back free of charge. And I had put them on notice that it was attempted extortion through a malicious prosecution. They handed him to me for the first time. And we're doing all right. Prepared the lawsuit showing criminal theft. And I'm trying to get it out of this jurisdiction of a court that's committing crimes against me walking through the door. It's very interesting. I can learn how to strip an engine and rebuild it with the help of others who are more than willing to teach me. But one of the things that I cannot seem to fluidly get help on is a course of knowledge in regards to law. And this is definitively important when we are all extorted by the use of law in our everyday lives. It's very important we study and we know what we're a part of, and we don't just blindly follow orders, because these orders could be policy. These orders could definitively not be law. So there's a current update. Filing the lawsuit and preparing others as we speak. I didn't imagine that I would be threatened with arrest for carrying my property into a courthouse. And while some of these small town local yokels are going to be like, well, you just need to follow the rules. Well, I've been places, I've seen bigger and better things. And let me tell you, there are better ways to do things. And in a day and age where we thrive with the use of technology and we are aided by technology for our everyday life in our living, it's a basic essential need. It's a tool. It's a necessity. And a capitalistic society revolves around technology. So I'm studying what I can. Um, uh, I'm about to sign off on these warrants. I just got a few things I need to iron out and understand before I do so. I do want to definitively propose a constitutional challenge um, to, I believe, the court. It depends on what information they come back with. Depends on how I'm going to proceed. But definitively, walking through the door of the Halifax County court system, yes, my rights were violated under the First and Fourth Amendment to be with the freedom of press in public places and to be treated equally and fairly. Under the 14th, actually, under the 14th and the 4th, to be secure in my persons with my property. Equally and fairly, there's courthouses across our nation, and you walk in with your phone. You can walk in, you have your phone on silent, you have the ringer off, you do not use your phone in the courtroom, you respect the rules of the court. And it amazes me how just we're not allowed to bring phones into this courthouse. But I already know, General District is not a court of record. It's not. So anything that you do in General District to prove your case, you can't use that information down the road again. No, because it's not for record. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also propose a constitutional challenge to a statutory authority in the state of Virginia that won't allow us to perpetuate record and testimony, which is very important when it comes to court. So I believe in some things. I know what needs to be changed to better society and to help individuals, and I'm leaning towards that. I've had several malicious, frivolous charges that never led to any convictions, a lot of attempted malicious prosecutions, and I'm tired of it. So now I'm studying the law that they used against me so I can now use it against them in attempts to set myself free from a system that wanted me so bad. You got me. Sorry. So I'm chaining myself to the steps of a courthouse, so to say, and I'm studying this law and I'm seeing it through. I refuse to take a bar. I refuse to go to school to be an attorney. I'm a private class citizen and I will conduct myself accordingly. I'm a nomadic man and I love what I do. I don't like what they do, but I love what I do. I don't step on nobody's toes. I don't hurt nobody. I don't infringe upon people's rights. I respect people's space and I respect people's persons. You guys have a wonderful day. Take care. It was great catching up, and I will be catching up with more information in the future surrounding the lawsuit that I am filing right now, that is filed, that is on a friggin' desk. So there's some more citations and accusations that I just need to submit. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And if anybody out there has anybody that is a friend of the family or a friend who is able to share legal opinions with me and knowledge of law, I'm going to go ahead and solicit that and look for the help, because if it's there, I will definitely take it. I've come a long way, and everything that I show is showing that there was no civil engagement in with anybody, period. No signs to agree to be notified with. So it is not a trespass. It is, in fact, grand larceny, criminal theft, and the conspiracy to commit grand larceny, criminal solicitation, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and they completely defied the state law that says businesses must produce signage and you have to give notice, period. So where people are like, you don't have to give notice, no, it is the law that you do. And these officers have committed a violation of 18 U.S. Code Section 4, misprison of felony, in regards to failing to investigate and failing to turn over my information to the proper authorities to be investigated accordingly. So these officers have a duty when you report felony crime to them. It's not their right to be able to say, oh, that's civil, or this is not criminal. When there is an element that maintains to criminal theft, yes, most certainly it is criminal, and they don't get to judge. They don't get to pick and choose. If I'm filing a report under penalty of perjury, I can be responsible. If I'm alleging felony criminal theft, then so be it. You investigate it. If you don't find any loophole that says they're not guilty, so be it. They can't find the loophole. They can't find any law for a lawful removal. There is no statutory authority for that. So with that being said, I can only pray right now and cross my fingers. You all have a wonderful day.